Stop it. Hey Siri, pause. Okay. What's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Bethany Ellen and I'm a photographer with a studio based in Cincinnati, Ohio, helping people realize their own potential, whether that is through the photos I take of them or the students that I teach. So today we are all full swing in Shutterfest prep over here, and I know quite a bit of you attend Shutterfest, and if you haven't attended Shutterfest, get your freaking ticket. I thought it could also be helpful to show you what I do when I'm prepping for any kind of conference that I attend, and what I've learned after many years of attending conferences, what to do, what not to do, what to bring, what not to bring. So I just figured let's show you what's in my bag and what's going forward, and then if you have any questions, you know where to drop them. Am I that you know where to drop? What am I doing? Anyway, I'll show you. Number one item I'm bringing, if I'm not bringing anything else, I'm bringing my camera, obviously. Now there's a bit of a caveat to this, and I'll tell you I don't bring my full setup of gear, and I'll talk about kind of what I've learned that I like to bring and what I don't like to bring. I don't bring my entire setup of gear because I find it's heavy, unnecessary, and a lot of it ends up just staying in the hotel room the whole time. But this is, of any conference, the conference to go and practice and learn. You're gonna have amazing models there, you're gonna have incredible instructors, and I like to go and just kind of absorb the material and practice with models and, you know, other creators around me. I don't like to go home and practice on paying clients. So I am definitely gonna bring my gear even if I don't bring extra clothes, you know what I mean? It's definitely the best place to learn and grow your technique. Number two. And this one, I feel like feels like common sense, but then you think you can like cheat the system in the moment, but I'm telling you right now, spend the $30 to $50 and buy one of those quality phone battery packs that either stick on the back of your phone or like an extra case if you don't want to like have something else to worry about. The one I have is like a big battery that I just plug in with my cord, and that way my assistants can charge it even if they don't have an iPhone as well. People make fun of me. I have the iPhone 13 mini and it's broken, so like go ahead and bully me for that, I guess. But this little guy, I like it because of the size. However, the battery life on it is garbage. And so I end up losing battery every day by about like 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and that's just not gonna cut it, especially when so much relies on our phone as we're at these conferences. So let's talk about one of my favorite things to pack.
Snacks.
I love packing snacks, and snacks, you need them. Conferences are very long days, and food is kind of iffy on when it's available, what's available, and you know, some of us do try to eat somewhat healthy during conference week, just so we can maintain energy levels. And sometimes some of us have dietary restrictions or just want to get something cheaper than what's available. So I'll kind of give you my recommendations. So I always like to pack fresh fruit, specifically oranges, and I'll tell you why on oranges. Shout out to Leroy from the Creator Series. Again, if you haven't seen the Creator Series, it's on Sal Sincata's YouTube channel. I was a participant on it. And there was one day, I don't remember, we were in the middle of filming and I did not eat because I was really nervous and I was crashing hard. Like I was like shaky, I was upset, like you could just tell I needed something to eat. And Leroy had been going to the hotel snack bar wherever we were staying and was stealing oranges out of the like executives lounge. Now he had a membership, he had like some kind of membership where he was granted access to the executives lounge, but he was taking like 3 or 4 oranges a day. And he gave me an orange and I immediately felt better. Because he was like, oranges get so, like that juice gets so quickly into your bloodstream, it's gonna help kind of revive you really fast. So now I always pack oranges when I'm about to have a long day in case of that like little bit of a blood sugar, not emergency, but like just, I need something and I need it fast. Oranges are always the way to go for me, and it's a good citrus fruit, and it's easy to travel with. I even really like the cuties, like the little clementines, just because they're small and easy and very snackable. When it comes to snacks, look for things with carbs to keep you energized and protein to keep you full. That will help prolong your snacking period. It will help you feel better. It will help make that snack feel productive if you have like a weird thing with food or if you just forget to eat because you get so in the zone. Make sure it's portable too. Now, there's one other sneaky thing you can do with your snacks, And that is that wherever you're from has some kind of local snack, delicacy, or candy that is specific to your area. And I always like to grab a couple extra of those and bring them with me to share and make friends with other people. And I think Shutterfest is big on this, but pretty much anywhere would be. Beer that is local to Cincinnati is always really popular, so I grab a couple of extra 6-packs. I don't drink beer, but it's easy to share and say, like, be part of a beer exchange, and I can bring some home for my husband. We're really close to bourbon country, so we have access to really good bourbon, so I'll grab a couple of bottles of those maybe if I just want to share. I think that this year there's some I think David is doing a cigar exchange. So bring something that's special to your area that you are happy with giving away, and maybe making a new friend out of it, because it is always a crowd pleaser to come with snacks. Now here's a super pro tip. This is going to save your ass, or you're never gonna need it, but at least you had it in case you did. I print out a copy of my schedule every year, even if I'm speaking, because if I forget that phone charger, or if my phone dies, or I forgot to charge the battery pack, which I do, I know exactly where I'm supposed to be. And I know it feels a little like a noob, and you're gonna feel like you're 14 and in your freshman year building for the first time, and you know where nothing is, and you feel like everybody else knows where everything is, and you're freaking out. It is so much easier to have a printed out copy of where you're supposed to be and when that you can pull out of your pocket and reference, because the rooms are all named after trains and train stations. And when you are overwhelmed and sitting on a trade show floor, the last thing you want to be worried about is where the heck Knickerbocker or Jeffersonian is. So I always have a printed out copy, so that way if I am lost, I can shove it in the face of someone who knows more than I do and say, I'm supposed to be here. Can you tell me where that is? And if your phone dies, you're not completely out of luck or sitting against a wall somewhere on the wall of shame against an outlet while you wait for your phone to charge to figure out where you're supposed to be. So go old school, go analog with it, have it printed out so that way you know where you're supposed to be. Now here's a super, super pro tip. If you plan on spending money at the trade show floor, bring an extra bag with some room in it, or bring an empty bag. It is often cheaper to check an additional bag when you're flying in and fill it full of the stuff that you're buying on the trade show floor than it would be to ship that stuff back home. So check the cost of what it's gonna be, but better safe than sorry, bring that extra bag so you're not out a crazy amount in shipping fees on the way back, and then you risk like damage and everything like that. So either keep room in your current bag, or just bring an extra suitcase with a little bit of room so that way you're not, completely out. Some of the big stuff you won't be able to take home with you anyway, like backdrops and things like that. However, if you're gonna plan to take it home that day, it is cheaper to check the extra bag. This one people forget about so often, and this is probably one of the more important things to bring: cash. If you've never worked in the service industry, then you don't understand the absolute nightmare that conferences are to the people who are behind the scenes kind of supporting them. Our staff does an amazing job at putting on this amazing event for us, and we are all forever changed and thankful for that. However, that doesn't mean we're necessarily the easiest time for the staff of the hotel, and they will never let it show. They will be the nicest about it. They will say that you are the best group of people they've ever had, but we're probably running them ragged behind the scenes. So bring cash to tip them when necessary, especially your bellhops, because your bellhops are always gonna meet you at load-in, and they're always gonna help you bring your stuff out as well. So I always like to bring cash to tip them when they load me in and when they load me out. So small bills are helpful, but again, it's just compensating them for their time. It's helpful at food trucks. It's helpful sometimes to have just a little bit of cash on hand for vendors at the trade show floor. It's helpful for your waiters and waitresses. It's helpful for your DoorDash drivers when you are getting food in the middle of the night. Bring a little bit of cash to help tip, and if you don't use it, you can always end up putting it back in the bank account, right? But having it there will give you some extra security to show some extra appreciation to the people who are really, really helping us put this on. As much as we all like to look nice at conferences and we want to show our best face and put our best foot forward, bring some comfy shoes. Conferences are designed to make you walk crazy amounts during the day, and bringing uncomfy shoes is just gonna make you miserable and wanna go home sooner. So make sure that you've got some functional comfy shoes that can get you from A to B and C and D and E and all the way to Z. Bring a jacket, because this is Midwest weather, baby, and I am very accustomed to Midwest weather. It could be 98 degrees, it could be 30. Who knows? You are not gonna need to bring every piece of gear. I promise you. And I know that people freak out and they're like, but what about? And I encourage you to just kind of be really for real with yourself for a moment. You are gonna be in hands-on classes where there are 50 other people trying to get the same shot that you are. And so we have to be real with ourselves for a second. Now, there are some conferences where we are outside and long lenses make sense. For a majority of the classes you're gonna be attending, we are either inside or inside adjacent, where like we go outside for a minute, but then we come right back inside. So long lenses tend to be really prohibitive to get the shot that you want because you're gonna have to be fighting with a bunch of different people. I also really don't recommend prime lenses unless it's the only thing you have, because prime lenses rely on you moving to get the shot rather than being able to move the lens and get different angles. And when you're in a big crowd of people, moving you, not always an option. I will tell you that in my many years of attending conferences, the one lens that usually never leaves my camera is either my 2870 from Canon or my 2470 that I have from Sigma. And I tend to like to get a wide shot that I can either then crop in or just Photoshop people out of, because my style is that wide, big environmental portraiture, right? So I always bring my 11-24. I had a 12-24 from Sigma for a long time as well. So I'll bring my wide lens and then I'll crop in if I need to, but I don't want to limit myself by having a long lens. And that, I wouldn't even say that you need all of your lights either unless you have intensely portable lights. What I would actually recommend you bring is your trigger. See if the instructor is going to have lights for their class. You can even message them before the class. Say, hey, I'm attending your class, I got in. Should I bring anything specific? You don't need to bring a giant modifier to every class either. It's only gonna make you the asshole in the class who has the big giant umbrella that's in everybody's shot that they have to Photoshop out, right? Going on that line of being for real with yourself for a second, I want you to reframe the goal of hands-on classes. You are not in a hands-on class, whether it's at Shutterfest or any other conference, to get the competition-worthy image that is going to get you, your claim to fame. And in fact, you shouldn't be entering most of those into competition anyway, but I digress. That's a different video. The goal of a hands-on session is to be able to learn the techniques and get a somewhat sellable image, or just a technique in your brain that you can take home that you got to practice on a model and not a paying client. So when you go home to your paying clients, you can easily incorporate that into your workflow. When you think about it like that, you're gonna realize you don't need to bring a ton of lights. You don't need to bring a ton of gear. You are there to learn from the instructor and take it home to your market, right? So sometimes you're gonna have to shoot in low light when you didn't wanna shoot in low light. And sometimes it's gonna have to be natural light when you didn't want natural light, right? It's okay. You're there to learn, right? You're not there to, get a complete portfolio reboot, right? So when you frame it that way, you're going to be a little bit more at peace with leaving some of your gear in the hotel room or even at home where it's safer. Okay, once again, I've dropped a ton of knowledge, and because this is more of a virtual audience, I don't really get to see your reactions as I talk. So I hope this was helpful. If you still have additional questions or you're still curious if you should bring something or not, drop it in the comments, message me on Instagram. I'm always available to you guys. I can't wait to see you guys in a couple weeks. If you're a photographer, join my Facebook group so that way we can connect before the event. Hopefully we'll have a time to meet up, but I just hope that you feel amazing and prepared and ready to tackle this conference, okay? See you in a couple weeks. Bye, guys.